Cool, cool, cool. Another day where I could use a haircut, but you know, it is what it is. One day we'll be getting haircuts more frequently. We're not there yet. I would say probably, what's up? Punctual. I love that. Thank you for your punctuality. I'm going to send you into it. Just finished eating dinner. Brother, how are you?
What's up, man? Good to finally get a chance to chat it up.
Same. Yeah. Yeah, it's great I've been looking forward to meeting you, so this is great. So, geez, man, God. All right. So I like to hop into things. Firstly, let me let me start off by saying I've been a big fan of you for some time now. I'm very curious as to because I haven't dived deep into your background. I'm very curious as to how so much of the natural bodybuilding world knows you.
Yeah. Um, well, this goes back to, man, like just a different time in fitness where instead of social media, we used bodybuilding.com forums to be exact.
Okay.
But there was a wide array of forums, like everyone kind of had their favorites. And I just happened to be a natural bodybuilder at a semi-high level at the time that was putting things out there. So giving people a behind the scenes look when it comes to what goes into contest prep and the ins and the outs of the sport. Not a whole lot of tested guys were doing that at the time.
Got it. So you're saying that you're basically providing an insight into what the world looks like for like new athletes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um,
Okay. So you're kind
yeah.
of on forums and stuff like that, kind of almost as a moderator of sort.
More of like that's where we there was like these training journal sections. And so it was pretty cool. It's like you'd go train and then you just type up how your session went today, like the sets, the reps, and all the other little miscellaneous things. And that's just how we communicated. Like a lot of guys just had their training logs up there. I think the OGs of this was actually Lane Norton, Late Norton. That's kind of how I fell into natural bodybuilding. Like he was really good at some point about just keeping us up to date and following him through his like contest
That's
preps.
very interesting. I didn't know that Lane Norton was an inspiration of yours.
Yeah, yeah.
And 3DMJ. What can
Yeah.
you tell me about 3DMJ?
So the way that happened, actually, Lane was my coach the season that I turned pro. This was like in 2008,
Okay.
and I felt that I had this huge advantage over, especially people in California at the time, because I was using more up-to-date strategies when it came to contest prepping. So it just kind of sucked. It was cool to be like successful to like win shows and all that, but I'm like, man, I feel like everyone here could be like 30, 40% better. So it started as just something that we wanted to do to help out in our own backyard, but it was still early in the internet in some ways, and people weren't resourceful in the way they are now, right? Whereas, like, if you have some interest, you just hop online and, okay, this is how, I don't know, like I fix my deck or whatever, right?
Mhm, mhm.
um, that just wasn't a thing back then. So we're like, you know what? We're going to go to all the local shows, try to encourage people to pop up on our website and learn how to just do this in a more modern and up to date way. But if anything, it's crazy. Like I think people in other countries that are always kind of looking at the US in regards to like what we got going on, they were the first ones to hop on board. Like we had way more athletes once we did open up the coaching services in Australia than like in our own state. So so yeah, it started out as trying to promote the sport, try to better the sport, and pretty organically from there it just turned into coaching.
Got it. Got it. Okay. All right. Would you consider yourself one of the top representatives of the sport, or maybe you're too humble to give that to yourself?
No, I think it's good to know like where you stand, right? Like I think this is something that I wish bodybuilders understood better. and we're at peace with, and this is just shoot, like like high school athletes know this. By the time you get to your sophomore year, you're like, man, I'm probably not playing college ball, or I am, but it's going to be
Hmm.
D3, right? And I think it's important to understand, like, what your personal situation is, because that way you could have the appropriate goals. And at the end, the main goal is going to be to make yourself better, right? And like for me, when I really analyze like what I am, I'd compare myself to like a really good, like, I don't know if you watch basketball, but like um guy that comes off the bench and just kind of lights it up.
Hmm.
And every once in a while, like I could have my night and I'll tag some guys that you're like, this makes no sense mathematically. So I'm deceptive. I'm good, but there's certainly a wide array of guys out there that I think are like out of my range. But um, like one of my goals, lifetime goals, is to at least win my weight class at WNBF Worlds at some point, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's like within my range. So talented enough to have like to be privileged in some
Mhm.
ways, but dude, it's like anything else. There's just like levels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I also truly appreciate, I mean, you're, to me, you're a vet, like you're like an OG veteran of the natural bodybuilding community. Your name holds a lot of weight. A lot of people respect you. Um, how is Zach Moore and that relationship been?
Yeah, so I think for him, he's one of those guys that can be like right out the box, like really good. Um, right? Like for a lot of guys, transitioning from amateur to pros is going to be it's going to be a process, man. It's going to take you a few years, You might have to wait till your sophomore season for you to like be relevant on the pro stage. But I
Hmm.
think he can make a pretty good splash the first year.
Hmm.
Um, but it's not till you get up there and you compare. Like that's the one thing about the pro stage is like for example, you could have this really freaky good body part that like you've always been that guy when it comes to, I don't know, delts.
Hmm.
And then you're up there with other guys and you're like, oh, my delts are just good enough, right? So I think he's got a bright future in the sport for sure. I think he can be like right outside the box, like good, like top three in like any pro show and like maybe even at Worlds. Um, but there's just a deep talent pool out there. So like with all talented athletes, you're one of your biggest jobs is you don't create talent. Like talent, like thank his parents, right? And the great fun he had in utero in some respects. Um, but a lot of it is managing talent.
Okay, okay. And you mentioned that there is a very deep talent pool within natural
Yeah, yeah,
bodybuilding.
yeah.
With your level of knowledge, which is obviously much more vast than mine, do you have your own sort of ranking system as to like where the top natural bodybuilders and how it trickles down? Is that kind of something that you're keeping mental track of?
Yeah, yeah, that's something that actually I did this a few years back, and I don't know if it was like a soft release, like top something, right?
Hmm.
But the one thing about the sport is that sometimes and this kind of holds us back, like the fact that like guys' egos, like it just gets in the way, right? So as much as like we want, like that's the one thing about like for example like Nick Walker, right? Like freaky dude, IFBB, he gets so much shit thrown at him, right? Like literally from all directions. But they're talking about you because you're doing something good, you know? And I think I wish we could have like that sort of coverage and open dialogue about like who we anticipate and like like what's wrong with this guy, what this guy can do better, um, like normal sports. But yeah, sometimes a lot of the guys just aren't used to that because it is like a niche within a niche. But yeah, every year I can kind of like scan like who's out there and through like a lot of the respected feds like give you an idea of like where I think guys sit.
Interesting. All right, let's back up for a second. You mentioned that egos might be getting in the way of proper promotion of the athletes.
To some extent, yeah, because like for example, like there's these deals that every major sport makes with the media, right?
Okay.
That you know you have to sit down, and as much as you don't want to, because that was a rough game, bad loss, you have to talk
Press
to the
conference.
media.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, the press conferences, and that's I think something that kind of holds us back because I think until we get to that point where the media just kind of becomes its own, you know, self-powered, hopefully polite
Mhm.
monster, um, it's like you have to do the self-promotion. Like you have to put yourself out there. You have to do that sort of like legwork. Like any sort of shine that natural bodybuilding has had up until this point, it is because certain guys decided to put themselves out there. And I understand that's not exactly the easiest thing for most people, but I feel like if you really love the sport and you want to leave it better for the next generation, like you have to do that.
You bring up a lot of great points. The one question that is most immediate that I want to ask is, with that desire that you just stated, do you how would you interpret what you know about what it is that I'm doing?
Um, Man, so this is why I put you categorically, right? Because I remember when we started 3D Muscle Journey and we wanted to, you know, do our thing, like, man, we'd get in trouble because we were taking pictures of like the lineups of shows, you know, and you know, there's a photographer there that gets paid for the professional pictures. So they're like, hey, you know, can you stop doing that? Because, and we're like, but bro, like we have people back then, like snail speed on the forums, just waiting for us to come back from this weekend and give them a run through of the show. So sometimes like the old heads don't have, um, because you know you get kind of caught up in your own ways. They have a hard time envisioning the sport and how it might unlock new growth. They have a hard time envisioning those paths just because they're stuck on going up the same trails over and over. This is always how it's been done. So so the way I see what you're doing is I think a lot of people have given you shit about it being like lofty goals, right? But like that's what you do at this point in your life, right? It's like you're fearless. You have a little imagination going here in regards to like how you picture this sport taking that next leap. And I think it's a much better product than people think because th- there is there's something about like doing it naturally that really captivates people. It's like, oh, this is just like pure human being DNA, like no assistance of like these magic potions. People stop and watch that stuff. It just, yeah, we just kind of plateau every few years. We've been growing slowly and steadily, but I think we do need more people to throw in ideas and you know, again, like generate new ways to get this great sport out there.
All right. I love that we are in alignment, that we both believe that the sport needs to be better promoted. Obviously, you've seen some of the content I've made, and I've referenced you in that content. I 100% want you on the roster. If you're down, I would want you to be number 6 out of the 10 that are getting cast this year. So I'd love that. Like if you're down,
I think so, man. Yeah, yeah. I think
okay,
I'll ask more questions as like it becomes closer to being real. But
that's completely fair.
you know, anything that I can do to just be an ambassador for the sport is because it's done a lot of wonderful things like for me personally, and it's like I wanted to do the same for other people for the next gen. You know,
Absolutely.
I only got so many decades left of this. You know.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna come clean now. I've been stoked to meet with you for like the past week or so because all right, I'm trying to figure out how to dive into this because I'm like really excited. So you already understand that I'm a filmmaker, right? And my background is in storytelling and writing and stuff like that. And you know that I want to create an epic scope for the landscape of the Natty King, right? I've always been thinking of telling a story that doesn't fully exist in normal reality, where we're actually taking aspects of anime or complete science fiction or fantasy and infusing those elements into a kayfabe story that still leads us to crowning the Natty King. Okay, so with you, I've been taking a look at you, your face and your body, and I'm gonna pitch something to you. And if you love it, great. If you hate it, it's not the end of the world. Okay. When I look at you, I see a person based off of your face structure, your hair, and your beard that exists outside of a specific timeline. Like I could see you in the Civil War fighting on the Union side
Yeah.
without even having to alter anything about your face.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
can also see is you in the future in a post-apocalyptic society where it's like we're living off of like crumbs and scavengers and shit like that, and like you're like Mad Max type shit, and you haven't changed your face at all. Keeping that in mind, I'm looking to identify each character of the 30 roster, and I think it would be a really cool thing to make you the anchor of the entire of the entire Natty verse, and have you be a time traveler who has lived in the future and seen what happens if the Natty King does not get crowned, and so you are living in the present to ensure that the Natty King gets crowned for the betterment of human society.
That's kind of in line with what I'm doing, right? Because yeah, I do feel like I exist in I don't know, like a few different gens. Like, the 2000s, I've made it through the 210s, now I'm here in the 220s. Um, and it's weird and hard to stay relevant, especially in the fitness industry. And I swear to you, man, I plan on doing this well into my 50s. I picture doing this in my 60s as well. Um, that's one of my goals, is to win a pro show in each one of those decades, and hopefully maybe even in my 70s, right? Um, so. So yeah, no, I guess like being the mascot of this sport in a way.
So
That's my role.
I'm calling you the anchor. I would refer to you as the anchor because your character and your ability to travel across the timeline and understand that what you're doing right now is incredibly relevant, and the stakes are cemented in your understanding of what the future looks like if the Natty King does not get crowned. Like, so you represent the stakes of this entire journey.
No, no, I dig it, man. And yeah, I can value how your brain works differently than my own, because mine's works very different compared to most folks as well. So no, I appreciate that, man.
Cool. Cool. Okay. All right. So keeping that in mind, now I just and obviously this since I understand that you're going to be in this sport for decades and decades, which is incredibly exciting. I do want to get on the same page with you, and obviously this can be fleshed out over the course of this working relationship. How do you feel about being in movies? And hey,
Uh,
for the record, like there is no like you can say no to anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I think I never looked at it from that perspective, but a big part of what I felt I was kind of meant to do was something artsy.
Okay.
Um, but at the same time, like, I was a nerd when it comes to, like, for example, math class. Like, I freaking love math class, right? So you have like the artsy but math. Those two things don't mix in. And bodybuilding kind of like has both those things, because it's a lot of things, right? It's a
Hmm.
sport, it's art, it's also science. Um, so I guess it quenches that part of the equation, the self-expression,
Hmm.
or 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 whatever it is that your vision might be.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not against it. It's just not
Okay.
something that, I mean, Arnold did it, right? I think
That's
that's what
true.
separates him from the other guys.
Yeah, yeah. And one thing I want to clarify is I know that you're a family man, and I know that I have an understanding of your passions, and I would obviously like to learn more about them over time. But the type of producer, filmmaker, showrunner that I am, I only want to involve you to the level that you're interested in being
Yeah, yeah,
involved.
yeah.
So I could totally make entire movies around your character. And I can think of a really cool one that I've been thinking about for the past 72 hours, where we're actually going through the process of you realizing that you're a time traveler, existing in like, 2025, and you start having visions of a future life and a past life while we're actually seeing the film, and you're getting ready to compete in the Natty King. So like That's like one film that I would totally do. Now, if you were to tell me, Shaun, that's too much work. I have other things to focus on. I would be like, okay, let's take that aspect of the story and make you a side character in a bigger story. But we're still telling the same story. It's just like your role is reduced,
Yeah, yeah.
and like that's how I like to work with the people that I work with. When it comes to collaboration, how much do you want to work? I can create entire films, sequels, trilogies, whatever. But it's like about like what are you comfortable with?
Yeah. Yeah, I think as all of this becomes more clear, I'd be able to give you a better assessment of that.
Cool.
Um, but I mean, I don't know, doing new stuff I think is always something that, especially as you get older, you stop doing. So I think it's important that one does that.
Yeah.
Also, hmm, this reminds me a lot of there was a time where this was way back when, where the WE, it was WF
F. WWF.
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to pull athletes from the IFBB, and the way they did it differently, they only lasted 1 year, I think. Was before the athletes like got on stage, like there was a little backstory to them. Yeah, they kind of fit their personalities. So a little bit of like that, like almost like wrestling flavor, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
everyone is like their own character, right?
Yes.
Um, so I mean, you people love that. People love narratives. People love, um, like
Hmm.
avatars, right? That athletes kind of create. So from a marketing standpoint, I think I mean, that's how we view people. Anyways, we kind of put them in these categories, these styles, that sort of stuff. So no, I think that's again, that's fun and exciting, and um, again, like whatever
Yeah.
does the sport good in the long term.
And honestly, that's what I needed to hear. I want to do the sport service, and that's why I'm coming to individuals like you who have uh, a legitimate level of loyalty, commitment, and passion for the sport. I'm only discovering it. Like this is my second year immersing myself in the world. So I look to you for the respect and the honor and the integrity that this sport deserves, and I'm looking to learn from you. Um, but with my enthusiasm as a storyteller, I am want to make sure that I'm being as respectful as possible while still having the opportunity to tell one of the most profound most emotionally resonating stories in the history of fucking Hollywood and sports and entertainment. Like that's what my focus is on, and I want to use natural bodybuilding as the vehicle.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's just it's more appealing to the masses than people think,
Of course,
because
we're on the same page.
yeah, most people like steroids are still kind of taboo, even though they've been a little
Dude,
bit more, right? So
yes,
to see like, oh, this is what the actual human body can do, I think it's intriguing. It's a great product. It's just it's not always marketed in
yeah.
the best way.
And I also, when I consider anime storylines, it's typical the case in an anime or like a cartoon movie where the protagonist is either taking, he's either cheating with a drug or a piece of technology as he ascends through the ranks of whatever he's doing. But then the way that the movie ends is like, you never needed that in the first place. Get off that stuff. The hero doesn't become the hero until they do it naturally.
Mm,
That seems to be a recurring theme within the whole arc of the hero's journey. So, like, we're just paying homage to the hero's journey that exists across thousands of different IP, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, storytelling is important, man. It is.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Um, where are you located, man?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Okay. You
Hmm.
going to Worlds this year?
I definitely plan to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
most likely be competing. So
fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be a great chance to see everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing Leroy too. He's been a great friend that I met early on in the journey.
that's right. That's right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys been chatting for a
yeah.
minute,
That's
but
going to be a great time.
yeah, no, I'm excited for you to see the. You've never been to a natural world event, right? Yeah.
I've never been to
Yeah.
a natural show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is a great one to be in, and like for me, last time I did Worlds, one of the most thrilling parts was that I was the only person there from the U.S. in my weight class.
Mm,
So it was
mm,
like me and I think it was like 10 foreigners. So that was pretty cool. So you get to see what's kind of out there.
And where are you located?
I'm in Colorado.
Okay. Okay, that's not even that far,
Yeah, yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Formerly, I was in California, but like NorCal.
Okay. And how do you like traveling?
I don't mind it. I'm more selective these days
Okay.
for sure. But that's because I've done my I've done my fair share of traveling. So
Gotcha.
home is great right now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm just selective with it.
Okay.
So
And outside of bodybuilding and family, and it can be zero, but do you have any other interests or passions outside of those two things?
yeah, yeah, a wide array of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I love I love reading. I love, I guess, coaching, which is bodybuilding.
This is great. This is
Um,
great.
I like people just in general. Like that's something that post child I've kind of had to rearrange because I'm like that social guy at the gym that just talks to
Fantastic.
everybody. So yeah, I like people. I like learning. Um, I like trying new things, I guess. Right?
This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm so glad this. I was nervous about today because I thought that my idea was going to be too perverse for the purity of your
Yeah,
bodybuilding career.
yeah, yeah.
So I was nervous that like you'd be like, I'm a bodybuilder, you know?
Sean, like it's important that like you want people like learn to think laterally sometimes, right? And kind of get out of their own systems because I remember being because how old are you?
33.
Okay, I remember being around your age, where bro, like I had these ideas, I had these visions for the sport, and some of the things now, a lot of these people who are running the sport, they understand, and I'm like, that's all I was trying to tell you, man. That's all I was trying to tell you. I knew it sounded weird and out there. Um, and so for me, like I categorize you because you're under 35 is like just the gears are going, you're less risk adverse, right? You're not stuck in your own ways. Um, that sort of stuff is important. And as much as the older folks sometimes be like, hey, these kids, they need to listen to that wisdom I'm spitting. It also needs to go the other way around too sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always say that my intentions are incredibly good. I'm looking to tell a really great story. That's all I'm really, at the end of the day, I've got great genetics. I love the sport of bodybuilding because I see an opportunity to peak myself mentally, physically, and spiritually
Yep, yep.
simultaneously. And to me, that is the opportunity to tell the story of human evolution. But I don't want it to just be me. I want it to be an entire generation of people, an entire timeline of individuals who are living for the purpose of evolving their own selves
Mm.
and showing that we can lead a better society through that community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe not exactly how you said it, but that's been my goal all along. Like bodybuilding,
Yeah.
transformative in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the one thing, and this is like, you have interest in, obviously you have a great physique yourself,
Thank you.
and you want to do this thing too, but like that has been the one frustration is that it's like, we just want to, at least for me, it's like I've always wanted just get rolling with my athletic careers and be like have the platforms just be there for me. But that's just not the case. Like so that was always one of my frustrations, like through my 20s, through my 30s. It's like I'm having to sidestep to like build my own stage, you could say.
Yes.
Um, but things like this, like that's kind of the goal. So that, hey, decades from now, it's like these kids, like they have these transport vehicles where yeah, it's all set up for them to just like thrive and do their thing and
That's
help contribute.
Yeah, that's definitely the vision. And I'll be honest with you, because for me, the vision is so goddamn clear. I don't even have a sense of urgency in having it realized because I feel like I'm just steadily walking towards it every single day. And it's not for you or me. It really is for future generations so that they actually have alternative paths to recognition, glory, success, anything, have an opportunity to think outside of the box of like, if I want to be a bodybuilder, I have to take steroids, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So we're definitely aligned in that thinking. And I'm freaking stoked. This was a big one. I don't. I did my best to articulate the vision for like what I would like to do with your character, but it doesn't do it justice. Like this, if it's executed correctly, ah, revolutionizes the concept of time travel. I swear to God, revolutionizes it
No, no, I'm excited that you're excited, man. And again, like I don't, like I think it's a little abstract for
for
me
sure.
right now, but
That's fair.
you're you're very sure about this.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Body Spec as a DEXA technician, DEXA scanner.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
Cool. Exciting, man, that you got this like side passion going and that
Yeah. It's
eh,
a full integration.
well,
Yeah.
you
Honestly,
have to
this
do it
is.
after hours too, which
Mhm.
like it's got to be your passion if you're gonna do it after hours
Well,
because you're gonna
I'll.
be tired after a
Yeah.
day, right?
The way that I do it, the big secret is that I don't reserve energy for anything
I
else. So like if
yeah,
you were
yeah.
to go in my like my bedroom, it's a mess. I gotta do laundry. I'm sure like I got like 5 car tickets that I gotta pay. Like I don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Like this is my baby and my baby. Like I have a 5 year old. So I have two babies. My 5 year old and the Nattyverse. And I want to make the Nattyverse the greatest intellectual eyepiece in Star Wars.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know you were pops too. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps me
Oh,
humble.
absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that, man. But yeah, man, no, I'm with it. I'd like to learn more as time goes on
Yeah,
and help you in any way I can.
absolutely. And I will, with you on board, I'm incredibly excited and grateful. You bring so much wisdom, respect, honor, all the things that I already listed to this and to your commitment. So it truly means a lot. And when it comes to working with you, I'm incredibly easy. I build the story around you. So, like, the way I like to approach the people that I collaborate with, the least amount that you have to change is like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what we're aiming for,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like you shouldn't really even feel my presence that much at all.
That's dope. You just see the world differently. That's cool. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
yeah. Right
Cool.
on, man.
All right. Well, this is great.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was good to finally chat and yeah, this interface we use, I think, best idea for
I
sure.
like to do it just to, I mean, all these get recorded. And when I think of the future shareholders, when this is like a huge success, we will have the documentation of me casting and recruiting people. And like we all have that public and it's completely transparent, which is very important to me because I don't want to do anything behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
yeah. And 30 people is what you planning?
Yeah. Could you imagine 30 dope ass character based, great physiques, personas, rivalry storylines? You will actually be in the Nattyverse. Like you'll be like the most powerful person in that Nattyverse, which is why I want to give it to you. But we'll still make other cool characters around you.
Awesome. How many have you officially selected?
You're number 6
Okay.
for like a verbal commitment.
Okay.
Verbal commitment,
Okay.
we have 6, and I'm looking to get 4 more by the end of this year. And then 2026 is going to be another 10, and then 2027 is going to be another 10, with the intention to go into production in 2028. And those updates will obviously
Yeah, yeah.
develop and evolve over time and shit like that.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
One thing I always say is that the vision will always stay the same, but the plan may adjust due to new updates, new elements, things of that nature. But the vision is locked in.
No, that's sick, man. Yeah, we again, we appreciate you and it's always good to have new blood and new perspectives in this thing.
Absolutely. Well, dude, back like I wish I knew who you were 20 years ago, man. I would like the sport would be changed already had I known that this sport existed. I swear to God, but it's okay. It's okay. No worries.
Yeah. No, you got here on time.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm off to a movie. I'm gonna take a shower and fucking celebrate.
All right. What you watching?
28 years later.
Oh, you going with that one. Okay, I kind
Yeah.
of thought so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you watch movies? Do you like movies?
I'm selective, man.
Okay.
Like
All
I
right.
don't rewatch movies ever.
Okay.
Uh I like foreign films. I like foreign films because they just tend to be a little bit less predictable than ours
Hmm.
sometimes.
I will
So
definitely keep that in mind.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Any movies that like come to mind that like you're a huge fan of?
Um, because I've been trying to brush up on my Spanish. A few years ago, I watched one called Wild Tales, Crazy Stories, and it was just a bunch of little short stories, like within a movie of people having these off days, and then they let it turn into like this big thing, and then it got really bad. So it was like watching like five movies in one. Of course, it was in Spanish, but yeah, it was an Argentinian movie, I think, but it was really really good.
And I'm actually glad that you said that. Your background. Uh, are you Mexican? Okay. Cool. 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 Cool.
Yeah, 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 Mexican.
Okay.
You know how it goes. It's like if you're from New York, you're probably Puerto Rican or
Yeah.
Dominican. If you're from California, you're
Yeah.
probably Mexican. Odds, right? Yeah,
My
yeah. So
son.
Mexican.
My son is half
Oh,
Mexican.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Ooh,
Yeah.
so you you know about those parties
Oh
that
yeah.
go till 3 in the morning.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just for future thought, and again, there is no deal breakers here.
Yeah,
Um, let's say we have the production company up and running, and we're casting our Natty King athletes in roles in movies and stuff like that. Would you be down to like play ethnicity that's not Mexican?
yeah,
If you
yeah. I kind of I'm ambiguous. You know what I'm
okay, yeah,
saying?
yeah, you
Like
are.
it's
Yeah,
right.
which
Yeah,
is why I think you're perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the Mexicans don't realize I'm Mexican
yeah,
until they
okay.
hear me say, and they're like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit, I had no idea.
yeah, I didn't know. I
I
didn't know what
thought
to
you
do.
were Asian. I don't know. Just they get everything but
Yeah.
Mexican. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, you seem super chill, and like I said, like I'm very easy to work with. Like there is no deal breaker, so like communication's completely open. Let's keep it going.
yeah. No, no. I'm
Cool.
excited to see where this goes, man.
Awesome,
100.
bro. I truly appreciate it.
All
Okay.
right, okay. Okay, I'll let you get going, man.
All right, brother. It was great talking to you. Great meeting you.
Hey, likewise, my
All right.
pleasure.
Take care.